Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today I'm back with another top pick, today's choice recommendation review for you. So this is something that I'm going to be doing on the channel going forward, basically just recommending and giving a brief review of something that I am particularly enjoying at present. Maybe it's something I've discovered recently, maybe it's an old favourite that I have revisited, maybe, certainly in this case, haven't listened to it in a while, but absolutely check it out if you're not familiar with it, and maybe if you haven't heard it for some time, revisit it, because it's bloody good stuff. So, today's top pick, comes from German, symphonic, very epic, theatric, black metal legends, the mighty Mystic Circle, with this third full-length album from 2003, I believe. This, with its excellent artwork, is entitled Infernal Satanic Verses. And you know what? This is a bloody great album. Infernal Satanic Verses, complete here in this lovely jewel case format with its awesome artwork on the CD there. I really do appreciate that. This is an absolutely superb album that, for reasons unknown to myself, I actually haven't listened to this album in ages, a really long time, but it's an absolutely fantastic album, and it's easily one of the strongest albums from the mighty Mystic Circle. So if you're not familiar with Mystic Circle, as I say, they are a German band. They've been around for a long time, since the 1990s. There's been a few sort of periods where we've had relative inactivity, but since coming back with full force and the self-titled album in 2022, I believe, I'm pretty sure it's 2022 or 2021, can't quite remember, they have been working at a staggering rate. We've had, as I say, that fantastic self-titled album. Then last year we had Erzdaemon, or Erzdaemon, which is an absolute fantastic album, and I annoyingly got my years muddled up and thought that album was 2022, so neglected it from my top albums of the year list, which was a crime because it was easily one of the best, absolutely fantastic. And from seeing on their social media, I believe they're actually working on another full-length album. We've also had reissues on vinyl of Infernal Satanic Verses, and we had Drachenblut as well. So they've been a busy, busy band. But this album is absolutely fantastic. It is black metal, firmly black metal. It's a heavy album, but it's packed full of grand theatric elements as well. I would say that if you were a fan of Cradle of Filth, primarily, because there's a lot of Cradle of Filth vibes in Infernal Satanic Verses. But if you're a Cradle of Filth fan, and if you like sort of earlier to mid, actually I'll just say all of Dimmu Borgir, to be honest, because they're a fantastic band, and they're a black metal band that dabbles very heavily and relies very heavily on their sort of orchestral elements and synths and sounds. But if you like those sorts of bands, then you are absolutely going to adore the mighty Mystic Circle, and in particular Infernal Satanic Verses, because it is just a bloody brilliant album. Absolutely solid start to finish. As I say, there's a strong Cradle of Filth vibe, and I do wonder if maybe Cradle of Filth were a bit of an influence on Mystic Circle. Not sure, but we do have Sarah Jezebel, I think her name is, Jezebel Deva, who, of course, has had a long association with Cradle of Filth, and certainly appearing live with the band. So you have got common members there, but the band is in fine form here. It's a really heavy album, actually. I was listening to this again. I listened to it twice yesterday in preparation for the review, and it's a very heavy album. It's very fast-paced, but it's very grand. So I'm just going to show off, just for the interest of the outfits there, the costumes. This is a very interesting band. So we've got Beelzebub, the Great Beast, on bass and vocals. We've got Baal Solgor on keyboards. So I think those two are the main sort of responsible songwriters and music writers for the band. Isternos on guitars. Guitar work is absolutely fantastic, and those keys and synths that we get throughout, which is a heavy reliance on those, are really fantastic. It really works. It kind of builds in that very grand nature, that almost a bit sort of gothic nature that we get with bands like Cradle of Filth or even Dimmu Borgir. It's a really refreshing take. Some tracks do kind of lean a bit more towards the very sort of theatric and very grand nature, and then others are a lot heavier. For example, because it's 8 tracks long with one sort of intro track there that kind of builds the atmospherics, entitled Demon's Call. These are long songs, and they're sort of in excess of 6-7 minutes long each. So it's about 50 minutes long, this album, but not for a second is it boring. It retains your interest, and it just grasps your focus for that whole time. One of the strongest tracks is track number 2, Undestructible Power of Darkness, which is monstrous. It's an absolutely fantastic track. Really excellent vocal performance from Beelzebub, who has a very iconic vocal style. It's a mix of a sort of a screech and a growl and a snarl as well. It's really interesting, but solid vocals, those riffs, and certainly the driving drumming. Oh, it's absolutely delicious. So that's a very good track. Hordes of the Underworld, very heavy, very dark. We've got that kind of very gothic nature to it. The Devil's Stone, a longer, heavier, sinister sounding track. Thorns of Lies and One with the Antichrist, 2 fantastic songs. There's not a bad track here, as I say, but they really do bring a resonance of Cradle of Filth to mind, most definitely. We've got Black Legions and Fallen Christian Empire, both fantastic tracks, really seamless as well. The whole album just flows so perfectly. But some of those latter tracks, they also kind of bring a little bit of a, maybe not so much in the synths and in the keys, but a little bit of a Dark Funeral kind of vibe there as well, in that just driving black metal. So it's absolutely perfect. And as I say, if you're a fan of Cradle of Filth, if you're a fan of Dimmu Borgir and Dark Funeral, and you're not familiar with Mystic Circle, then you need to check them out. And I would say that a very good starting point would be Infernal Satanic Verses. So I know that this album is very difficult to actually acquire on CD. So I can't remember when I got this particular version. It was a while ago, and I'm pretty sure it was secondhand. The memory fails me a little bit on that one. But you can get a lovely colour vinyl reissue, which came out courtesy of Atomic Fire Records, I believe, or Nuclear Blast, within the last year or so. And it looks stunning, and I'm looking to acquire a copy of that one as well. So definitely check it out. As I say, if you're a fan of Dimmu, if you're a fan of Cradle, if you're a fan of Dark Funeral, Infernal Satanic Verses is an album you need to hear. I'm absolutely loving it. Tracks that you need to check out if you still need to be convinced: Undestructible Power of Darkness, I'd say Thorns of Lies, and probably One with the Antichrist as well. Those are the top tracks for me, but the whole thing flows perfectly. Well produced, really good cohesive sound, doesn't sound overly polished or glistening by any means. We've got that rawness that black metal really benefits from, but at the same time, it's fantastic. It's absolutely clear, brilliant mixing. You don't lose the bass or the keys behind a wall of fuzz or anything like that. So check it out, Infernal Satanic Verses from Mystic Circle, 3rd full-length album from circa 2003. Album that you need to hear, and it's my top pick of today's choice. So thank you very much for watching, my friends. Please do feel free to like, subscribe, share. It's all very much appreciated. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations. But until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves and stay frickin' heavy.